Joe Freeman, winemaker at River Road Family Vineyards and Winery. And this is Ed Morris, assistant winemaker. And we'd like to introduce you to our first of two experiments that we've tried for vintage 2012. With Ed and I and the collaboration that we're looking for here at the winery, he throws ideas for barrel usage at me, and then I throw ideas back at him. And between the two of us, we decide which ideas are ready for the bin and which ones we want to utilize during each vintage. So for 2012, we actually picked up some roller racks, and these are in use for red wine fermentation at some wineries. But for us, what we really wanted to try to do was see how effective these barrels could be in stirring lees without batonnage using a barrel stirring line. So this, when they're stacked in the racks, we can stir them as often or as little as we want. We don't have to bring the barrels down to manipulate them. The question that we had was, how effective is this going to be? And so, you know, we're scientists in a way. We love to get data. And, you know, an experiment is only as good as the information that you can glean from that. And so what Ed did is he got these plexiglass barrel heads installed. So there's a plexiglass head on this barrel. We put it on the new roller racks, and what we're going to do right now is the first barrel mixing using the barrel with the plexiglass heads on the roller racks. So stay tuned. We're all going to learn something right here on camera, whether this is going to be functional or not. So Ed, you want to give that a spin?
Sure. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to put a solid bung on it just to ensure that none of the wine spills out of this thing. And hopefully this will give us some information as far as scheduling, lee stirring, and what's happening in the Chardonnay. So let's go ahead and give this a spin.
See the heavy lees, which have been broken free from the bottom of the barrel. You saw that there was various different strata of lees, and some of the very heavy stuff, which is almost peanut butter-like in consistency, is what you're seeing getting loosened now. That should, you know, with the turbulence there, that's going to mix up all those different layers, both the lightest lees, which were about center in the barrel, as well as these very heavy lees at the bottom.
I'm going to go ahead and give it another stir, or another roll I should say, and just so we get a good mix on this. Wow, I mean, you can see how well the lees are incorporated into the wine. It's actually incorporating better than I initially thought it was going to, which is good.
So the current state of this wine is it's finished with its primary fermentation. So all of the grape sugars have been converted into alcohol, and what we're doing now is we're monitoring its progress through the secondary malolactic fermentation. And so you do see there were some interesting kind of turbulent effects in there, and I think there's probably a lot of CO2 that's kind of trapped in those lees, and as you mix it up, it tends to release that spritz and help to carry things up.
You definitely hear some crackling in there, some CO2 being released.
So what we'll do with this barrel is we'll try additional mixing. We'll do different durations of time between the mixes. That was about a week after that wine had been put in the barrel before we stirred it today. So you could see we saw the lees compact about halfway toward the bottom in the course of a week. Those light, fluffy lees are what we really want to keep in contact with the wine. As those yeast cells die, they're going to release some of those really interesting, complex characteristics that we look for in a lees contact a surly aged Chardonnay. So I think it works.
Yeah, I think it was a success.
Give it another roll.
this is, I coopered for about 11 years before starting my winemaking career, and 7 or 8 years ago when I was installing plexiglass heads for wineries and was thinking, well, why do they want us to do this? I mean, I can see why now. It's pretty neat to be able to see what's happening in this barrel.